everybody, and welcome back to Vlog Talk. Today we are going to be going over my top 5 favorite toys that you can buy pre-made in stores. Now, for the most part in my bird room here, I make most of my toys. I will go ahead and do a big bulk order for toy parts and then assemble and kind of pick apart and make the toys myself. So for me, I don't usually purchase pre-made toys, but there are tons of occasions where you just don't have enough time, you don't have the energy, or something just looks really cool. So I figured I would share some of my favorite pre-made toys. And just before we get started here, this video is not sponsored by anybody in any way. These are just products that I have used with my birds and tend to enjoy that I wanted to share with you guys. First up on my list is products from Bird Kabobs. Now this is the Bird Kabobs swing, but they do make a variety of products in different shapes and sizes for all sorts of different types of birds. Now the reason why I love this design of theirs in particular over others is that it is a swing shape. So not only does it allow you to utilize a lot more of the space in your cage by having this kind of free hanging. It is something that the birds can climb on, it is something you can hang other toys on, and it is something that your birds can easily chew and engage with. And it is very, very common for parrots to want to stand on top of something and chew the object that they're standing on. And if you've gone and bought a bunch of expensive perches, and those can be a lot trickier to find, you may not want them chewing on those as much as you would an alternative product. So this is a relatively cost-effective way to give them a wood that is soft for them to be chewing on. They can still fulfill that natural instinct to want to chew the things that they're standing on without ruining all the other perches that you have in your cage. Bird Kabobs are made of a very nice textured wood. It flakes off really nice and easy. You can pick it apart with your fingernail, which makes it great for all of those smaller birds that tend to struggle with chewing on harder pieces of wood. This wood is a nice in-between of being firm enough to have a good consistency to it, while still being soft enough for some of those tiny beaks to be able to get through it. They do make these in a wide range of sizes that can be suitable for small birds like budgies up to your really large macaws. So they are a very good versatile product that I find that most parrots do really enjoy. Another little added benefit that I love with these things is that you can just stab sunflower seeds that are still in their shells into the side of this wood because it's that soft, and then your birds have to chew through the wood to start to get the seeds out of it. And that's a really good way to help encourage birds who may be having overgrown beaks or just struggling with learning how to play to engage with their toys. Next up on the list is by JW Pet Products. Now this company makes a huge wide variety of toys for all sorts of animals ranging from dogs all the way up to birds. So there are a ton of things to choose from when it comes to them, and I find that having that sort of knowledge of dog toys as well as bird toys helps them come up with a bit of a different variety of toy products that you might find out of other companies. And that is where we ended up with this little guy, which is the JW Pet Products Lattice Balls bird toy. Now I will say as a bit of a preface that this company does make a lot of toys that aren't appropriate for birds. They have some with very easy to swallow pieces, they have lots that have to do with mirrors. So overall I will say that a good portion of their toys are something to be wary of. But this one is one that they sell that I really, really love, which is great for teaching birds how to forage, and you can create a lot of depth and intensity and challenge with this simple toy. Now the reason why I like this one so much is because for smaller birds, it is not destructible. It is an acrylic-based toy, meaning that it is a very hard plastic. So it's something that you can wash and disinfect and reuse over and over and over again, so you're not having to spend a lot of money. And because it is an acrylic plastic-based toy, it does make it a lot cheaper than all of your natural wood products might be. So if you're looking to save some money but still create a lot of effective enrichment, this can be a good product to aim for. Now what I love to do with this toy is utilize it for foraging. If you have a bird like a conure, they may enjoy just tossing it around and listening to the noises that the plastic balls make. But personally, I like to stuff it full of paper and hide seeds inside of it. You can also use those big chunky millet balls and stuff them inside the little weaves and create a lot of varied enrichment through really easy stages of foraging by just having the millet easily accessible, and then going onwards from there to make it a lot more challenging by adding in paper or other toy parts or things you have laying around to really stuff it and make them have to pull other things out before they're able to access the treat. This is a very, very easy one to reuse and remake. You could also utilize this for your vegetable foraging. Because it is plastic, it is relatively easy to clean in comparison to wood and other products. So you can easily stuff some whole vegetable chunks or fruit chunks in there and have your birds work for their food and create a bit more fun when it comes to their fresh food side of their diet. Number 3 on my list is this massive ladder by Planet Pleasures. Planet Pleasures is another company that I have a ton of products from. I do really, really enjoy the things that they make, and my birds love them just as much. This ladder in particular, and why I've chosen it, is because I have had this thing for probably 5 or 6 years. I've had this ladder ever since I've had Mia pretty much. It has been here forever and it is still holding up. Now this ladder is awesome to me because it's so incredibly unique. Most parrot ladders or bird ladders in general tend to be really, really basic with their design, you know, just wooden dowels or some rope and some wood, and that's all there is to it. This ladder takes it a step further and adds enrichment into it. So you've got your rope and you've got sort of these bamboo dowels and these hooks that are easy to hang up that are made of coconut shell. Now, in between each rung of this ladder, they have added toy parts. There's all sorts of different little beads, there's some wood chunks, and there were on my ladder at one point a bunch of coconut fiber made chunks that were lining the edges. So your bird could sit on the ladder, munch and chew away at it without actually destroying the rope and wrecking the ladder itself. This ladder has held the test of time with my birds, and it has done a phenomenal job. It is so easy to hang around and move it from place to place. It is super flexible and easy to use. It is such an awesome ladder. It is probably the best purchase I've ever made, and it has still been with me for 5 years. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. So it is up there on the list for some of my favorite things. I apologize for the quick change of scenery, but I was just going through all the footage and turns out that the second half of this video's audio did not record at all. With that being said, toy number 4 on my list is this lovely bunch of vine balls from Zoomax. Now Zoomax is another brand that can be kind of hit and miss with the toys that they produce. Some things are just really thick, heavy slats of wood that most smaller birds don't enjoy. Bigger birds, maybe, but I just find that a lot of their toys tend to not think too much about how much a bird would actually enjoy playing with it. They're very, very basic a lot of the time, but this one I have used and repurchased about 3 different times because the birds love it and I love it and it gets used a ton, and I will continue to repurchase this same toy as it gets destroyed. Now this one is very simply a leather strap tying a whole sequence of vine balls that are brightly colored along with some of these sort of vine chains that are dangling off of it. As you have probably guessed, I do use this mostly for foraging. Now just because it is used for foraging doesn't mean it has to be for foraging for food. If your bird happens to have favorite toy parts like crinkly paper, or maybe there's some tiny colorful beads or something that your birds really prefer, you can hide them inside these and have your birds chew through to get to the toy parts that they enjoy most. One of the biggest features I love about this toy is the fact that it is held together with a leather string. Leather tends to hold up a lot better to being chewed on than most other materials do. So if you have a bird that likes to go for the string and just chew the toy apart from there and then the whole thing's garbage and you have to try and put it back together, these toys that are made with a leather strap can be your best friend. Now we just can't go a toy video without me mentioning a toy from Feathered Addictions. Feathered Addictions is a Canadian-based company and I talk about them a lot because I just love their work. This one in particular was a Halloween toy, as you can probably guess from the color scheme. And the reason why I chose this one is because Feathered Addictions as a whole tends to put a lot of thought into the toys that they make and whether or not birds are actually going to enjoy them. There's a wide variety of textures and colors and all sorts of different things that they make to tailor their needs to your specific bird and things that your bird enjoys. So overall as a company, I love their products altogether. This one in particular I love because of the varied amount of things on it. Usually when you buy a toy, it's a string of the same thing. You know, maybe it's a string of wood or it's a string of plastic noisemakers. Maybe there's 2 parts. This one, however, you have the crinkly paper that birds can rip and pull apart. You have these 2 baskets on top of it that you can use to hide things in, or you can just simply have your birds pulling the toy parts out of it. It doesn't have to be used for foraging, and the cups themselves are fully shreddable, so your birds can chew them apart and have fun. On the bottom, you have got wood blocks that are brightly colored that are made of a softer textured wood. That is another thing I really, really enjoy about most of these products is there isn't a single part on here that my birds can't use. A lot of toys will have a couple softer woods or a couple softer pieces, and then some completely indestructible parts that a bird just isn't going to use. So either you're going to get something that your bird is only going to chew half the toy of, or they're just not going to use it because half of it doesn't interest them. With this particular toy and most of the toys that this brand makes, every single part of this is suitable for the same type of bird. The hardness of this woven basket is similar to a bird that would be able to chew up the wood that is on the bottom. They're not using an extremely stiff pine and a really soft basket that is just going to be half useless. depending on the bird that you give it to. So that will do it for my top 5 favorite pre-made toys. I hope this gave you guys a couple ideas of different shops or stores or brands to look into, or maybe just some ideas of things that you can make or to consider for your own birds. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!